Good morning. Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody.
What up?
What up is right. How you doing, man? Nice jersey.
Thank you. 1996, Michael Jordan, NBA All-Star jersey from the Alamo Dome. Moose, you know how it is as you get older in age. It's some people frown upon, adult men and adult women wearing jerseys. So you don't get a lot of opportunities. Today is Michael Jordan Day, 2323. I figured no better day than to break it out.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome. It's beautiful. We're going to play a little bit of a game in terms of jerseys a little bit later on in the show. We got a good show on tap. A little NHL. It's All-Star Weekend down in South Beach. So we're going to chat with Pete Jensen from NHL.com. Look at me setting the table and the list early on in the show. Dave Sharapan will join us right around 11:30 this morning as well. We'll catch up with Dave in his usual spot on Fridays as well. And, a lot to get into, obviously. And when you talk about the buildup, we'll do a little props a little bit later on as well when we're running through, as we did yesterday with the quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts. We'll talk about running backs and wide receivers a little bit later on in the program as well. So we got a big show on tap, Keith.
We do. And how about LeBron James now 63 points away from breaking Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record? Did you have a problem? Because a lot of the shows today are bashing LeBron for his whole history thing. He's like, the day before he talks about, no one really cares. It'll happen. And then last night after he gets inching closer, he starts talking about like the history of things. And he kind of screwed things up a little bit when he was talking about, what did he say? Like Sammy and Marc chasing Babe Ruth or whatever he said. Like it was, he misspoke. Did you have a problem with LeBron talking about how important this record is?
Like what act? Like downplaying it? Well, him and Kareem.
No, now he kind of played it up again. So he downplayed it 2 days ago, and then he kind of played it up yesterday.
Him and Kareem don't get along.
Right.
So, Kareem has been very, very critical of LeBron in a lot of aspects of it. So it's not like Kareem and LeBron have this amazing friendship. They do not. Do I? No, I think it's fantastic. Should he appreciate the fact of what he is about to accomplish? Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's up to us then to kind of put it in the context of what he's about to achieve. He's a unicorn to be able to do this now in his 20th season. And he's averaging over 30 points per game. It's remarkable. He entered the league significantly younger than Kareem did. Let's also not forget about that. Kareem was also a 7-footer. Over 7 feet tall. So we went through it the other day talking about what he averaged, the last 3 years in the league, what Kareem did. It's not like he was averaging 30 points per game. So his body was different. LeBron, obviously, it's a different time with the amount of money that athletes are able to make. Not that Kareem had this secondary job. He didn't. But significantly different to what we know now, the way athletes take care of their body year round, the way that they use load management in the NBA, how much, the medical fields and health departments have played a role in terms of playing time and not overusing athletes. So that's been, positive as well. It's just different. LeBron's about to accomplish this. He had a couple of years ago where, he celebrated the fact that, he played 82 games in a season. Remember when everybody was running around and you, the LeBron lover that you are, and people were like, well, I said to myself, guys used to do that all the time. Used to play in 82 games during the NBA regular season. Now I need to celebrate LeBron, the fact that he did it during the regular season. Like that's where it gets a little bit out of whack. But if you're LeBron, I would appreciate the record as well. It's a remarkable accomplishment.
All right, I just got triggered, not by you, but Wally, I love you, but I don't know if you're trolling or not, but here we go. So Wally wrote in the chat, does he get an asterisk because he got to the record faster with threes over 2K more made than Kareem's 1-3 over his career? We got to stop with the asterisk stuff. You can only play the game that is in front of you. So if you want to start talking about asterisks, then how tall was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? He was 7'2". The average player in the NBA at that time was 6'6". So it's not legit. It's not. So like we can always find ways to make one person, like if you want to beat them down. We got to stop with the finding reasons to be against these records that are breaking. It's so frustrating. Why can't we just enjoy it? No asterisks. None. I'm not giving an asterisk for Barry Bonds. I have no idea if other people are using juice also.
Oh, there you do. That's not.
I'm not. Other people, I have no idea who was on what. I don't. If you can tell me that Barry Bonds was the only player using performance-enhancing drugs, then yes, there's an asterisk. We have no idea. No idea what was going on.
Yeah, but we could also understand that there was a uptick of an unnatural level in Major League Baseball.
What about the pitchers? So the pitchers who suddenly were throwing faster?
Well, well, not to the level that they are now. We're going back to 98, early 2000s. I mean, Bond started using PEDs. His head grew. He looked completely different than he did when early on in his days with the Giants or even the Pittsburgh Pirates. He became Babe Ruth. He had a home run rate that was on the same level that Babe Ruth did. That's unnatural. Like that's just when do you think we're going to get to a point where somebody hits 75 home runs during the regular season naturally?
I mean, Aaron Judge hit 62 last year. So should we start testing him?
He was gassed at the end of the season. Like he was gassed. He had nothing in the playoffs, and he went games without hitting home runs. The Yankees put him at the top of the lineup in order to try and maximize his at-bat so he makes sure he gets that 60-second home run. So, I mean, there was a fear at one point in time. It almost seemed like a foregone conclusion. And then all of a sudden you felt like maybe Aaron Judge isn't going to hit. Maybe he'll end up tied with Roger Maris for the American League home run mark. Like, that's where I differ. Bonds is a cheat. Like, he's just a cheat. It's fine. I mean, it is what it is. But you can't go tell your grandkids 20 years from now if they ask you about Barry Bonds and look at that and say it's or Mark McGwire or Sammy Sosa and all those guys during that era and hold them to the same level of guys.
But here's what I can say. My eyes will tell me that Barry Bonds is the best hitter I've ever seen.
When he was on PEDs, yeah, for sure.
He was the best hitter my eyes ever saw. And no one ever seemed to care while it was going on. So why do we care now?
Well, but that doesn't – wait, hold on a second now. So people cared at the time. There were books written, Game of Shadows. His trainer went to prison, so he didn't have to testify against Barry Bonds.
Right, but we were
actually
went
it
up
to
on
prison.
TV and stuff like that.
He went to prison, so he didn't have to testify against them. So, like, I don't know. I mean, people. I think you make that argument more about the summer of '98 when Andro was first. When someone first noticed Andro in the locker of Mark McGwire, and books were being written about how baseball was back. Listen, you can talk about the popularity of Major League Baseball being written or being brought back on the backs of steroid users. I've said that for years, and there's no doubt about it. It was. People dug the long ball. Yeah, Fox was cutting in for McGwire at bats and Sosa and everything like that. And people couldn't get enough. All of that is true, but it doesn't mean that now. It doesn't mean now because you had a blind eye then that you continue to have a blind eye when more information comes into Major League Baseball, having the understanding that the Players Association was pushing back on any drug testing policy because tides raise all boats. So they wanted more money coming into the players. They didn't have the long-term ramifications of the record books being eliminated in Major League Baseball, something that separated Major League Baseball from every other sport. Because if you grew up, you knew those numbers as a young kid. You knew the numbers. You knew the what Ted Williams did, what Babe Ruth did, what all guys, Joe DiMaggio, Willie Mays, go through the eras.
Hank Aaron,
Hank Aaron. I mean, you knew all those numbers. Those numbers have been obliterated by steroid users. That's fine. I mean, you could say, you could make the argument, as you did, that it doesn't matter, or it happened. So if it happened, it wasn't illegal at the time. Major League Baseball, you can't look at one record, and say it's exactly the same when the game is completely changed. I mean, I don't know. I'll differ on the opinion of if you want to poke the bear as far as the LeBron James supporter and say, well, the game is different. Yeah, it is. It's less physical. It's more wide open, more offensive. The three-point line, obviously scoring is up. We've talked about that time and time again this year, every time when we're talking about prop parlays and player props. But, I can't look at records in Major League Baseball and look at those guys and be like, yeah, I mean, no, they didn't cheat. They did cheat, but it was okay because everybody at the time thought it was okay. I can't look at it that way. I just can't. That's what you and I will differ on that. I think Barry Bonds, I think that record is dirty. I mean, I do. It doesn't mean I don't think he should be in the Hall of Fame because I think before he got jealous of what the popularity of
He
McGuire
already
and
had
Sosa.
400 and 400. Yeah.
Right. He already had done enough to get into Cooperstown. Just like I think Roger Clemens, who decided to hook up with Brian McNamee after Duquette called him fat up in Boston and wanted him to get himself back into better shape and prove everybody in Boston wrong, and went up to Toronto and was loaded to the high heavens. I think Roger Clemens had done enough up until that point in time to get into the Baseball Hall of Fame. I don't think those guys are products of steroids. There are guys that are products of it.
Sammy Sosa always appeared to be a product of steroids. Yes.
Brett Boone.
Yeah.
Brett Boone's another one who all of a sudden showed up at camp and he looked like he was just off the cover of Muscle Fitness. Like it was the wild, wild west. Kirk Radomski said at one point in time when he was, in the Mets clubhouse and he was handing out PEDs and giving it to baseball players that, you'd have to be a fool at that point in time to ever get caught by the testing policy that none was in place. But you could, you have to be a fool once one got in place in order to be caught. So we've seen guys get caught now. I think it's different when you look at baseball as compared to what LeBron is doing. I think LeBron, it's interesting. I think the game is different. I think when you look at pure dominance, no one's taking anything away from LeBron James. But when you try and talk about what Kareem and he did and his impact, and if you were a supporter and saying, I think Kareem is the greatest scorer in the history of the NBA, inherently to the LeBron supporter, you feel like you're knocking LeBron James. And I just don't think that's the case.
Yeah, and I mean, again, the whole 3-point thing, so then Kobe Bryant, he's not really the 4th all-time leading scorer because of all his 3-pointers. Dirk Nowitzki, can't put him on the list. Carmelo Anthony, not really number 9. Got to move him down. Sorry, everybody. He didn't really succeed the same way Kareem did. Paul Pierce, he had a lot of 3-pointers. Nope, can't be in the top 20. He's number 17. Hey, Ray Allen is 25. He's trash. He had way too many 3-pointers. Can't do that. Like, we can go on and on and on. The game changes. So when Steph Curry, who's number 39 right now in 863 games, when he inevitably in 5 years from now is top 10 scoring, nope, garbage. Can't believe he did it with all those 3-pointers. Same thing with Kevin Durant, absolute trash, dog water. Why are we talking about them? Like we need to evolve with the times. And
so how do you evolve it?
How do we evolve with the time? The game changed. If a guy is doing what he's doing in his current league, and I will come back to the steroid thing, the PED thing. You're right. Bonds' record is clearly tainted. We all know that. My point really was more that I saw Bonds hit those home runs, so I can't take those out of my vision. Like, I saw him hit the home runs, and that's why he has the record, so he has the record, whatever. And the same thing I'll say about any of these current NBA players that are hitting 3-pointers. I'm seeing them score the points. If a basket is worth 3 instead of 2, sorry, Kareem played in the wrong generation. That's not my fault.
No, right. I get it, but then you get into the argument. One more point about the Bonds thing, right? Because there was a famous quote about Gretzky a long time ago. What made Wayne Gretzky great, besides being, all the physical attributes and the gifts, was that Gretzky knew where the puck was going instead of where the puck is, right? That's what made Gretzky great on the ice, his vision on the ice. Major League Baseball at the time was extremely short-sighted because they were looking for the short-term gain and not realizing the long-term ramifications when you look at there was no drug testing policy and not pushing for it. And that blame falls on everybody around. And I can understand those that scream and holler and say, how is Bud Selig in the Hall of Fame when he was the commissioner at the time? And then you're not going to put these players in the Hall of Fame when he was the guy that was supposed to look over and protect the game of Major League Baseball. All fair. I mean, all that's true. So I think that's the life lesson or the learning lesson you need to have is you have to understand sometimes your decisions or lack thereof or not pushing for something, the ramifications that could have down the line and thinking about kind of all aspects of it. Yeah, listen, I think for the NBA, it gets into the conversation just like we're doing right here on this Friday morning on Bettor Sports Network, or you're doing it at a bar, or you're doing it anywhere else. You get into comparing eras of NBA players. And I think we have to have a healthy respect for, and you do, and I do, for those that help build this league. And athletically, we know as a country, just as human beings, we're all bigger, faster, stronger, right? We just are. Look at the average height of, the American man or American woman. It continues to, go up and up and up as compared to where it was 50, 60, 70 years ago. That's fine. It doesn't like I look at what Kareem playing during the course of his time, because I think we have to look at it the context. So if you're going to look at it and say, okay, Kareem during his time, was he more dominant than what LeBron has been during his time? And I don't know if you can make that argument. I mean, I know they changed the rules. I know Kareem came in after, obviously in Power Memorial, dominant high school player here in the New York City area, and then what he did over at UCLA, and what he did in Milwaukee and then Los Angeles, and the evolution of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and the sky hook and no dunking and everything that he brought to the game. He's a legendary presence on the court and off the court. And I think we just have to look at, they're just different players and the game is different. But if you're going to make the argument about Kareem, I think the argument is during his time, I believe he was just more dominant than what LeBron James has been during his time. Could you make that argument based on during their prime years? Yeah, you could probably make that argument.
Yeah, I mean, 6 MVPs, 15 times an All-Star. And if we're being fair, like for me, Keith Irizarry, I never really saw any of the greatness of Kareem. Do you know what I mean? Like I was, I think I was 3 years old when he won his last MVP. So, like, obviously, I can go back and watch video, and I'm just like you, a historian, like a history buff, and I could pay attention to all the history. By the way, the history, Get in the Game is putting there something about Joe Montana. Joe Montana was 16-7 career in the playoffs. He may not have lost a Super Bowl. He did lose playoff games, just FYI, if we're going to be fact-checking everybody. So,
yeah, I mean, I
ornery this morning.
What's up?
I got a little ornery this morning. I got triggered.
Yeah, well, I can understand. I mean, hey, my dad actually saw Kareem in high school at Power Memorial.
Oh, that's cool. I think my father did too. Yeah.
So he was, and obviously at that time he was Lou Alcindor, but before he became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and changed his name, and we know that. But he was, unbelievable when you look at what Kareem's impact was. Listen, LeBron, it's fitting to his success, his commitment to the game. Not everything that LeBron says or does is great. We've seen missteps by him over the course of his career. He's clearly, I think when you throw the centers in the game, you can make the argument about Kareem being the greatest of all time. Michael, obviously, we've had that conversation. LeBron James, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell. Those are the five that people kind of put together on a list and figure out exactly where they want to go when you throw.
I think
centers.
the younger people like to throw Kobe on there too now, and I know you and I probably have him on the outside of that.
Yeah, I would not.
Yeah, but if you're talking to anybody in their 20s and some even in their 30s, they will fight you tooth and nail that Kobe needs to be in that.
I just
top
don't think
five.
he did enough. I mean, I don't think he did enough when you compare him to those five. But I mean that's fine. I mean, and it's not if you want to throw Kobe in 6 through 10, I have no problem with that. What Kobe's impact in the game. I wouldn't put him in my top 5, but you're not wrong about that. But that's a kind of an ageism thing where you're just looking and remembering, and you have a healthy respect or for what people did in this game. Listen, LeBron's right there as with the argument being the greatest of all time. However way you want to look at it, he's still in the league for 20 years. To be able to physically hold up and play the style in which he plays, for his game to evolve to where he can now knock down outside shots, and to have the commitment that he still has and the drive and the passion and the hunger, that's where, it's the rare of the rare. Though that thing is, I said the other day when I was talking about Tom Brady on WPIX, I did a Moose on the Loose, Keith. And long story long is.
No, you're good.
What separates the greatness is something immeasurable. Like, we're going to go through the scouting combine in the National Football League, and you're going to go about hand size with quarterbacks and size and 40s and reps and bench press, and go through, and do all these testing to see exactly, their ability to decipher information quickly, quick twitch reactions, all of these things. But what's immeasurable, what you can't figure out, is the drive of a human being. The ability that when that success comes your way, are you still going to work and have the hunger that you did when you first got into the league? And LeBron has it. Michael had it. Kobe had it. Gretzky had it. The greats of the great that we're talking about, those that put themselves onto this legendary, iconic status. That's something that's immeasurable, because we see it in all walks of life. It doesn't matter what you do in your career. That there are people that once they start to get success, they don't work as hard that they once did. And to still have that hunger, that's what separates those. That's what separated Brady in the NFL. And I believe that's what separates LeBron in the National Football, in the NBA. LeBron James is an unbelievably gifted player, but the hunger to be great is still there today as it was when he was 18, which is remarkable.
Getting the Game is writing about, because I guess who had a list? Dan O, I'm assuming that's Dan Orlovsky maybe, had a list of top 5 quarterbacks apparently.
Who's on his list?
Okay, so Getting the Game, can you just put it in the chat? Let us know who was his top 5, because apparently he did not have Montana on there. And before we start talking, but before we start discussing a list that we didn't actually see, I'd like to know what the list is first. Second part, while Getting the Game is doing that in our chat, I love that you're giggling about this. It's true. I think this could be fun. You know what? Let's have some fun here. Oh, go ahead, go.
Well, no, go ahead. I thought I found it. I didn't.
Okay. If Getting the Game finds it, we'll talk about it a little bit more before we rip it. The other thing so someone wrote in there also about like our all-time fantasy basketball team.
Oh yeah, I got it.
Here you got it? What do you got?
All right. Brady
Can I
won.
guess? Brady won. Peyton 2.
Who?
I bet you it's Peyton 2.
No.
Marino 2.
No.
And then I'm out. Okay, what does he got?
Mahomes 2.
Can't put him at 2. Okay.
Elway 3.
Okay.
Manning 4.
Yeah.
And Marino 5.
I mean, Montana has to be in there over Mahomes.
Yeah, I think
unless it's most talented QBs.
No, he said top 5 quarterbacks of all time. Dan Orlovsky's top 5 quarterbacks of all time.
Ugh. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like, and Dan's great at what he does, and maybe it's a reaction to what Mike had to say the other day when he was on with Stephen A. and Russo on ESPN about, and we chatted about it yesterday a little bit with Lucy about Brady, that Peyton was the greatest regular season quarterback, Montana was the greatest Super Bowl quarterback, and that that Brady was the guy that hung around the most. And won the most games. I think Brady's the great. Maybe it's a reaction to that. I don't see how you don't have Joe Montana in your top 5. And I love Dan Marino. I do. And Peyton Manning, inherently, there's a knock. When you say anybody's a great regular season quarterback, that means they were awful as a playoff performer. Manning was able to get his game to a certain level consistently, more at a consistent rate, better than anybody else in the regular season, but he was never able to find that next level that you need to have that consistent playoff success. Brady was. Mahomes is on that path. I mean, John Elway went to all those Super Bowls, lost when he was the driving force. They won when he was older, and it was Terrell Davis in the ground game, made some big throws, but it was more about TD. We know that, the upset of Green Bay Packers, and then dismantling the Atlanta Falcons in the Super Bowl. Love John Elway, but Joe Montana's got to be in the top 5. But he's getting what he wants, which is us reacting to it, and Montana's in the top 5. I wouldn't put him ahead of Brady. I think that argument is long gone, but Joe Montana's got to be number 2 on the list.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, I have an idea, and we're going to flesh this out. I know we have Pete Jensen coming up in about 6-7 minutes. We'll talk about the NHL All-Star Game. So I feel like this sparked something. I'm wearing the Michael Jordan jersey, the 1996. Yeah. This was at the Alamo Dome, arguably one of my favorite jerseys I've ever owned. And then we got people talking about like the greats of all time. We have to figure out the logistics of this, Moose. And we have an Ernie, and is it Keith or Tony behind the scenes today? I think it's Keith. Ernie and Keith are with us. Oh, it's Tony, my bad. So Ernie and Tony are behind the scenes. We have like 36 minutes to figure this out. I think that we do a fantasy all-time NBA draft at 11 a.m. You, me, and I don't know how many callers we can get on the line with us.
Only one at a time.
So if we can only do one, here's what we can do. Everybody that's in the chat, okay? What Tony, if you behind the scenes, if we could do this, and I'm talking this out, and I know the producers are probably really angry at me that I'm coming up with an idea on the air like this. But let's have whoever would want to be in, write it in the chat. I want Tony or Ernie behind the scenes, jot their name down. We'll give an order, and then we'll do a draft through this, and you and I will be a part of it also.
All right. Well, we got to figure it out. So because we have a guest coming up at 10:30.
10:30. We'll do it between 11 and 11:30, and then Sharapan's on at 11:30.
Then
so
we'll
get
figure out the list. So we should probably cap it. If so, Baby J's in. The game is in.
Yep. You and me are in, or maybe just one of us will do it, and one could host it.
Line of the day, is that a kid's medium? No, it's a youth small.
It is not. Hold on. What's the size? This is a large, dude. It's a jersey. You don't wear jerseys small. It's T-shirts you wear small, Wally. Now, the T-shirt is a youth medium. That's correct. The jersey's got to be big. You can't wear skin-tight jerseys.
That's a lot.
Can't wear the skin-tight jerseys. You know that, Wally. You're better than that.
So line it up. So Ernie and Tony behind the scenes. Figure out chat session who's in. Baby J's in. Getting the game is in.
We cap it at 8 teams. 8.
Yeah.
And we're only going to draft a starting 5. That's it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so 40 picks.
40 picks. You get like 30 seconds for a pick at most. And I think that's what we do. We do that at like 11:02. Something like that.
That's it. We could do that. Yeah.
So we'll tweet that out and get it out there on social. The first 8 people in the chat. No, actually, it's got to be the first 7 people in the chat because me and you will draft one team, right?
Oh, we're going to draft one?
You want to draft 2? We want each of us in?
Let's see if we can. Let's see who wants.
We'll see how much.
Dedicate the time, right? We'll go.
All right, cool.
All right, we'll come back. We'll talk a little NHL. They're at the All-Star break. We're going to be joined by the great Pete Jensen from NHL.com. They're down in South Beach. We'll talk a little sticks and pucks. We'll do that next. It's Moose and Keith with you on a Friday right here, Bettor Sports Network.
Bettor Sports Network is sponsored by Lucra.
Now being joined by Dylan Robbins, the CEO of Lucra.
Lucra is a unique new platform, but it really has a basis and a very simple idea is that we think that people want to bet with their friends, right? Our product is built off the fact that the casual fan is at the bar or at their buddy's house and they're putting $5 on the game and they're doing it on Venmo. And I think that there's a huge opportunity to open the market up to all these casual fans. A lot of people who feel boxed out by the traditional sports books because they're too complicated or there's complex jargon. They don't understand the lines or the spreads. And so Lucra's goal is to just make it simple. And our favorite way of doing that is we just connect you directly with your friends. So it's a social platform. It's peer-to-peer. We're not the house. We don't take any risk on these wagers. We just are a marketplace to kind of connect you with your friends directly to engage. So it started as just a business for sports. We've expanded outside of sports now. We offer 150 recreational games from cornhole to beer pong to darts to Wordle to Peloton, you name it. You can challenge your friends now on Lucra. And you've got all the gaming and tracking and stats and leaderboards to go with it to make it fun. So it's a bit about what we do, and excited to chat with you guys about it today.
What's the future growth of Lucra?
Good question. I think for us, it's really the expansion outside of sports. I think that we've proven that sports is a great model. We've got a ton of great customers who love our sports product, but we're really paving the way or really innovating on this recreational game side of our business as we think about all these unique categories and areas where people are competing. Spike ball, pickleball, all these things that are blowing up across the globe right now. Lucra is the first real way where people can bet with their friends on these games. A lot of new customers from that, a lot of brand awareness from that. That we're going to keep. That's what Lucra's about. Our average contest is $10. This is not about bankrupting your friends. It's not about winning big and paying your rent. It's about the magic of the moment and making that better. You got to play around with golf. You watch it longer, you spend more money there, and it gives us a lot of time, a lot of opportunity for us to partner with other brands because of that.
Bettor Sports Network is sponsored by Lucra. Winning is fun, and beating your friends is even better. Download the Lucra app today to challenge your friends and win money.
Sports Network is betting, fantasy, collectibles. It's sports talk done better.
There you have it. It is the Bettor Sports Network. Moose and Keith with you on an action-packed Friday. Get into a little NHL here momentarily. And top of the hour, we'll be looking to do this all-time NBA fantasy draft. And even if we only have 5 that can commit to the time to be able to do it, we can do 5. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have some fun.
Yes, no doubt.
All about fun and me being smarter than everybody. That's it. Wait, what? What did I say?
You're not.
Excuse me?
Wait, what?
What? Excuse me, what?
You're the one that was like, you know what? Barry Bonds' records are on the level.
Yeah, it's fine. No, I didn't say they're on the level. I said I don't care. I don't care what he took. I enjoyed watching it. Do you know that I recently found my journal from when I was in it was 5th grade. We had to write a journal.
Nice.
And the whole first page was about how I wanted to make a lot of money as a lawyer. All right. The second page was this whole long story about how I got asked to go for a tryout for the New York Yankees. I did okay, so they put me in the minors. I did well. They pulled me up. I struggled. They put me back down to the minors. I dominated, and then I went on to have a Hall of Fame baseball career. I crushed every number. It was fun. Yeah. And my cursive was perfect.
Do you still journal now?
I do not. I've thought about it at times that it would be kind of cool to do that. I don't.
I hear it's a good thing to journal.
I mean, I guess, aren't we journaling right now just with a video?
Probably. Yeah,
right?
kind of. Yeah,
like,
I guess so. But I mean, I think when you're talking a little bit more about your feelings, family, what you're going through, good times, bad times, more than a case of just talking about sports or some variations of that.
Wally's in this chat, man. Wally's on one today, huh? You sit on a throne of lies. So Wally helped me with the cruise I'm going on this summer. Am I where is this cruise actually going?
I know you're gonna have a great time.
I think it's gonna be the Titanic. I think we're gonna hit a storm. There's gonna be icebergs ahead. Thanks, Wally.
No, you're going to the Mediterranean.
I know.
It's gonna be awesome.
I'm so excited. Oh, can and while we wait for Pete, can we talk about what I'm doing in February? The end of February?
No, what are you doing?
We told the boys last night we're taking them to Dallas. We're gonna go see a Mavericks game. Buddy of mine hooked it up. We're gonna go see the Dallas Cowboys stadium, get a stadium tour, eat all the fine foods of Dallas. It should be a blast.
Barbecue.
Oh, I'm gonna eat like it's my job.
Bring the Pepsi AC.
Man, toughen up. I'll be good.
No, you won't. You will not.
I'll be.
You eat
fine.
very clean. You eat very clean. You're gonna go in there. And
I told you I'm gonna feel horrible next Monday.
You're gonna start eating sausage. You're gonna start eating. You're gonna start eating ribs.
All of it.
Beef rib.
Yes.
Smoke.
Yes.
All that. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
I told you
barbecue.
I'm a little worried about a week from Monday, the day after Super Bowl. I think I'm gonna be sitting here with you, and you're gonna go, all right, that was an epic suit. I'm gonna do your open. It's Moose and Keith. He's Keith Irizarry. I'm Marc Malusis. What an epic Super Bowl. And then you go into your whole thing about what happened in the game, and the Eagles won by 1 on a game-winning field goal. And I'm going to go, it was so good. I ate too much pizza.
Yeah, you might be right.
And some cake.
You might be right.
There was a cheesecake. It was so good.
You might be
right.
And
I'm full. That's what it's going to sound like next Monday. So if everybody wants to that was a little preview, a little foreshadowing of the bloated Keith Irizarry next Monday. All right.
Yeah. Well, enjoy it. You're going to have and hopefully the most important thing is the Eagles win for us all.
Yeah. Can we get you to quit your job that day and just come out to the island and hang out, bring the family and hang out with us instead?
No, I'd love to. I'm gonna do a Super Bowl talk with
Amani Toomer. Who really? You continue to choose other bald men over me.
No, Amani, he's also the Giants' all-time leading receiver. Let's head down to South Beach. Pete Jensen is with us. NHL.com. It's All-Star Weekend. He's down in, I believe, sunny FLA as he joins us now. Good morning, Pete. How you doing, bud?
Guys, great to be
We're
on.
waiting for it to fire up. There he
There
is.
we go.
There he is.
Good morning, brother. How are you?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Yeah, we're here in Fort Lauderdale Beach. The games are in Sunrise. The skills competition is tonight on Friday night at the Florida Panthers Arena. So it should be an epic weekend. You got a lot of this, some of the stars through the years have skipped the big event, namely Alex Ovechkin, but Ovi's here, Sidney Crosby's here, Nathan McKinnon's here, Connor McDavid's here, Cale Makar, like all the stars have aligned here in South Florida. The weather has something to do with that for sure. It's pretty beautiful.
Yeah, the NHL reached their bald man quota. You got to go. I did not. It's really just not fair. Anyway, of all the events that you're going to see, the specialty events, which one are you most looking forward to?
I always look forward to the accuracy shooting. I think some of the guys competing in that event this year, it's really star-studded. Connor McDavid is the favorite to win the event on Friday night, but not so fast. I mean, he's used to winning the fastest skater, right? He may not necessarily be the most accurate shooter. You see guys like Artemi Panarin, sharpshooter, Vladimir Tarasenko, one of the best goal scorers. You can get some great odds on him. Alexander Barkov, one of the most underrated players in the entire NHL for the Florida Panthers. So you always look at that angle. He's going to be motivated with the home crowd on his side. And then, don't forget about the second best favorite, Leon Draisaitl, the teammate of Connor McDavid. He can score with the best of them across the league as well. He's usually like number 2 on the leaderboard behind Connor McDavid in our fantasy rankings, in the league points leaderboard every single year. So don't sleep on any of those other ones. I don't know that this is a lock for McDavid here.
All right. Is it Makar that's going to win fastest skater, Pete?
So Dylan Larkin is the favorite for good reason. He won the contest in 2016. He is in a contract year, so he's been scoring at a rapid pace this season for the Detroit Red Wings, who are not a playoff team, but definitely rebuilding in the right direction. He's their captain, so I understand why he's the favorite. But yeah, Cale Makar as a defenseman, he's a different breed out there. He's almost like Connor McDavid if he played defense, and was going end to end and stuff like that. So definitely some sneaky speed for Makar. Also look at Kirill, they call him the Thrill Kaprizov for the Minnesota Wild. That's great odds on him as well. He's one of the best scorers in the league. He's probably like,
so if you're not going
10,
Larkin, would you go with Kaprizov or Minnesota?
I think I would, because he's a forward and he's fast, no doubt. He's highly skilled, and he's probably a better player than Dylan Larkin if you're looking at it across the board, scoring wise, finesse, speed. So yeah, I think Kaprizov's right there with Larkin.
Another event, the NHL Splash Shot. Are you excited about this one? This feels like it's going to be an opportunity for these guys to just act like kids.
Yeah, definitely. And they're also having like the golf event at the golf course down in Florida, which is, I think there are a couple of different odes to Happy Gilmore with some of these different events coming up on Friday night. Of course, with him being a hockey fan, hockey player, not a good one, but of course loved the transition. He tried to keep hockey as he became a golf star. So Adam Sandler classic film. So there's going to be a couple of references from what I've heard to that movie in some of these new skills events, right? We always see the fastest skater, the accuracy shooting, and hardest shot dating back for decades, but they always try to work in different new events and a couple inaugural ones this season for sure. And it's a fun thing when they can blend different sports together.
I love the hardest shot because it's just, I think back to the days of Al McInnes. And when he would line up and he'd be balding, but he'd still have the hair on the sides, he'd still have the comb over, and he'd come up and hit and fire a puck 106 miles an hour. Like, it was just crazy, like watching that stuff. I know Ovechkin's leading the marketplace when you're looking at it, Pete, but where's the value when you're looking at hardest shot? Because I'm looking for all three of my boys. They're all hockey players. They're younger, and they play up here in the Connecticut, Stamford area. Looking forward to watching the skills competition with them tonight. What about hardest shot tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it's usually an award that a defenseman wins, like for many, many years back, whether it was Zdeno Chara, Shea Weber, John Carlson, Shea Weber again, Victor Hedman last year. Ovi's the only forward that's won it in recent memory. So, yeah, I mean, that's probably why he's the favorite. But when I look at elite defensemen in the league this year, two guys that are in the competition and are super underrated, Rasmus Dahlin and Josh Morrissey. Keep an eye on those guys. They're powerful shots, especially Dahlin. Dahlin's playing for an upstart Sabres team that's one of the most improved across the whole league. So he replaced Tage Thompson to join the event, and I think he could definitely make a splash here in the hardest shot.
Yeah, Dahlin was someone that I was looking at as well. All right, so from the skill stuff to the game this weekend or the games this weekend, what are some of the things that you're pinpointing to pay attention to?
Yeah, so we did kind of like a poll on NHL.com with which division we thought was best equipped to win the All-Star game, the 3-on-3 competition, and I went with the Atlantic. They have the pedigree of some Tampa Bay Lightning championship superstars like Nikita Kucherov and Andrei Vasilevsky, the goaltender. But goaltender, wise, he might not even be the best goalie on his own team. Linus Ullmark, the Vezina Trophy frontrunner from the Boston Bruins, is also in the crease. So I don't think anybody has a better tandem than Ullmark and Vasilevsky. And then you look at some of the other guys. They have the Tkachuk brothers. I mean, these guys are superstars in the league. They're some of the most fun players out there, and they're some of the toughest players that can score out there. Brady and Matthew Tkachuk. Tkachuk for the hometown Florida Panthers. They added Rasmus Dahlin, like I said. And then, you have like a Hart Trophy candidate in David Pastrnak. So they're completely loaded, the Atlantic. So that was my pick out of the four if I was going to handicap things a little bit.
Pete, when you look at the overall first half of the National Hockey League, what was your kind of impressions? What to keep an eye on? I want to ask you about the big trade that Lou made this past week for the Islanders and getting Bo Horvat, their captain from the Vancouver Canucks. But overall, kind of, I mean, the Bruins faded a little bit toward the tail end, but they were by far the most dominant team in the league.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a year with some incredible stories. A lot of American-born players actually are in the Hart Trophy conversation. It's probably going to go to Connor McDavid, but I was talking to some of these guys at Media Day yesterday about guys like Jason Robertson, Jack Hughes. The Devils look like one of the 5 best teams in the NHL, and they weren't even a playoff team last year. So look at the job Hughes has done carrying the Devils. They're definitely the biggest surprise across the league. I mentioned Tage Thompson. He's 6'6". Unfortunately, dealt with an injury right before the All-Star break, so he's not going to be here. But he's got to be a big story. He's like top 5 in the league in some of the biggest categories like goals and points and stuff like that. So I've been a big Tage Thompson fan this season. Erik Karlsson has come out of nowhere and kind of resurrected his career. He's on pace for over 100 points as a defenseman, which hasn't been done in decades. And then, the Boston Bruins, who I think a lot of people viewed as maybe this would be their last dance, like maybe they'd be a fringe playoff team that could do some damage if they clicked at the right time. They're far and away the best team in the NHL, and they're on pace to set the record for most points in a single season at the moment, even with that little slide they had at the end. So it's been a really fun season with some big surprises across the league.
So President's Trophy curse, it's a thing. We know it. The Boston Bruins will probably end up winning it, and then we'll see what they do in the postseason. With that being said, they are the odds-on favorite to be the Stanley Cup champion at the end of the year. If not them, who?
Probably Carolina. Carolina has some work to be done, and it's kind of going to be an arms race. And you could see a team like the Rangers, if they get Patrick Kane, join that conversation with the star power they have. It's going to be interesting to see if the Bruins make a move, if the Hurricanes make a corresponding move after that. I do think the Hurricanes are a better possession team, a little bit more well-rounded, and they beat them in the playoffs last year. They beat Boston. So that was my preseason cup pick. I'll stick with that. But you mentioned the Bo Horvat trade. If you look at Boston, who they would play in the first round, I mean, they're either going to play a team like Pittsburgh or Washington. Both of those teams are grizzled and high-octane offenses when they're healthy, or they would play an upstart team like the Sabres an improved team like the Islanders, who have maybe the best center depth in the league after adding Bo Horvat, like you said, Marc, and they have an elite goalie in Ilya Sorokin. And then the Florida Panthers are one of the top offenses in the league last year and since January 1st. So for Boston, like, it's not going to be easy, whoever they play in the first round. And like you said, we've seen it in years past. Remember that year when the Lightning ran the table in the regular season pretty much and then got swept out of the first round? They got to be thinking about that in Boston. It's a scary sight to be facing any of those teams.
No doubt. Pete, do you think it's Lou grasping at straws here, going to get Horvat, a team that is underwhelmed? He's already given Lambert the vote of confidence, got rid of Trotz to a lot of people's surprise before the start of the season, last offseason. He paid a hefty price, top prospect, to protect the 2023 first-round pick. Bavillier is a good forward as well. Do you think it's too little too late for the Islanders, or do you like the move by Lou?
I like the move, but I don't like giving up one of their top prospects, the Finnish kid, Ratu.
Yeah, Ratu.
I mean, that's risky, because they don't have a lot of great prospects in the system. So, I mean, if they're trying to go out there and make a deep run this year or sneak into the playoffs and surprise some people, certainly they're more equipped to do that with a player like Bo Horvat, who's a workhorse centerman. He's going to take pressure off like guys like Matthew Barzal, who's not that good with faceoffs, and he'll open him up scoring-wise a little bit, and he'll be a finisher on the power play. The Islanders right now at the All-Star break have the worst power play in the whole NHL, so it's going to get better with Bo Horvat, at least to some extent. But it's a little bit risky. It's a little bit win now, and I don't know that the Islanders are definitely better than teams like Pittsburgh, Washington, Florida, and Buffalo even, to sneak into the playoffs. They have to go out there and prove it and make some line adjustments here.
I'll steal your phrase, arms race. So handicap the arms race for Timo Meier. Where does he end up?
I know a lot of teams are interested in adding a player like that. The New Jersey Devils are definitely an attractive candidate, as much as they've been a surprise and have two great centers in Hischier and Hughes. Hughes' line mates, if you look at them, they're not that strong. And they were trying to get Johnny Gaudreau in the offseason, remember, and they were unable to do so. It was kind of strange that he went to Columbus and it hasn't worked out for him, but the Devils were in the hunt for him. I think the Devils have proven that they are an elite team this year by the metrics, by their star power. Dougie Hamilton's having a bounce-back season. So there are a lot of attractive pieces to the Devils where if Timo Meier got traded there, he could really make them a difference maker, a disruptor in the Eastern Conference.
Pete, I saw an interesting, tweet from Julia Stewart-Binks, who's down there covering the game as well, All-Star Weekend, and said she spoke to Wayne Gretzky and said that, because we were talking a little bit about, you mentioned the Devils there, that Jack Hughes is the only one in the league that could close the gap on McDavid. You believe that?
I could see it. I think there's definitely, in different awards races, teams like the Devils with Hughes in the MVP race. Certainly with the
you
Buffalo
think he's that
Sabres.
caliber? You think he's that caliber of player? Like, no doubt he's that caliber. But I mean, do you look at Jack Hughes as being the McDavid level of player?
Can I just get one clarification on the tweet? Did JSB tweet this year or like in a career?
No, in a career.
Career. Okay.
Yeah, career.
I don't know. I talked to Jack Hughes yesterday, and he was saying, like, I mentioned that he's in the MVP conversation, and McDavid. He still said McDavid is head and shoulders above the rest right now, and he said that he believes McDavid will go down as the best player to ever do it, type of thing with scoring wise. So I think he answered that question for you. I don't think that he will ultimately beat McDavid in the Hart Trophy race this season. I don't think he'll outscore him, but Jack Hughes is probably on the short list of 5 to 10 best players in the NHL right now. So it's a good thing for Jersey to resurrect the franchise a little bit.
It's interesting when you look at young players in the National Hockey League, and we get into, especially when you look at prospects, especially the guys that are drafted, you have to be patient. Like, and the Devils, credit to New Jersey, they were patient with guys like Nico Hischier, patient with guys like Hughes, and then you're watching them and they got, tremendous amount of playing time, And now they're reaping the benefits of that, Pete. And you see that, Darlene up in Buffalo, what he's developed into. He's the number 1 overall pick in 2018. What he is now at 22, being an upper tier, really special young defenseman. In the National Hockey League, sometimes guys aren't going to flash right away. They need time to get bigger, faster, stronger, and adjust to the game they're trying to play in.
Yeah, no doubt. And the fact that McDavid, when he came into the league, performed at such a high level, immediately raised the bar for everybody else. So you look at some of the disappointments, right? The Lafreniere and the Kakos of the world. I mean, it's too lofty expectations, and they didn't get the roles that they may have deserved at the time. Still are not top flight role players on the team. So they have failed to reach those expectations. But with Jack Hughes, it was a tough thing for him with injuries. He's a smaller guy, he was getting banged around, and it was he couldn't avoid injuries at different points too. Now, last year when he was healthy, he reached a new level, and then this year it seems like he's on track to being maybe 100-point player at season's end.
Stick with some of the great players, and I know we only got a couple of more minutes with you. So if McDavid is the guy, Hughes is in that conversation, if you were building a team and I told you couldn't have either of those two guys, who would you start with?
Probably Cale Makar. I mean, he's won almost every trophy in the book so far. Dealt with a little injury this year, but has been up to snuff once again. He's like a point per game player as a defenseman for his career at large. So really impressive there. Won the Norris last year, won Rookie of the Year as a rookie, won the Conn Smythe as the Avalanche got to the top of the mountain last season, of course. So, and again, having an elite defenseman, a lot of teams out there have the scoring punch. Like, look at the Vancouver Canucks. Like, they're a top 10 offense, but they've been a disaster this season. They just had to trade their captain. They fired Bruce Boudreau, and it's because they don't have a defenseman that plays two ways. They have Quinn Hughes, but he's just an offensive defenseman. Like, you need the two-way elite workhorse defenseman to build your team around. So that's why I would probably go with Cale Makar to start things off if I couldn't choose McDavid.
Pete, where you mentioned it, where does Patrick Kane end up? You think he ends up in New York with the Rangers?
I don't know. I wonder if a team like the Edmonton Oilers would make a move for a goal scorer to help put them over the top. They probably need a defenseman too, and they're kind of cap strapped because they're paying so much money to guys like McDavid and Draisaitl and Nugent Hopkins, Zach Hyman, Evander Kane. They have a lot of star power, but I know there were some rumblings about that, so I wouldn't rule out the Oilers to make a big move for either a forward or a defenseman. But yeah, with Patrick Kane, every time on Fantasy on Ice when we have a guest on, like, we're always gravitating toward Kane to the Rangers because he played so well with Artemi Panarin during his Blackhawks days when Panarin was there prior to them having to trade him when they were cap strapped. So yeah, that reunion would be huge for the Rangers. It would be huge for his fantasy value. It would make him a top 10, top 15 player again, Patrick Kane. That's probably the best case scenario for Kane.
Pete, are you right on the beach right now? Like, because
I mean, it's a beautiful setup.
A block away, yeah.
Now, are you going to be going to the beach? I know you're busy. You got a lot going on. Have you worked in some pool or beach time for yourself?
I plan to do so today and tomorrow for a bit, no doubt. The past few days have been a little busy. Had some travel delays getting down here, but happy to be down here. Don't miss the cold weather up there. No. Good to have a little break. No question. I think a lot of the players are treating that too, like in that way. Like Alexander Barkov, who we had on our podcast yesterday, the captain of the Florida Panthers, he said, he's so busy during the season, he enjoys the weather, but doesn't have time to hit up the beach that much because of his rigorous schedule. But he said the past few days he's gotten a little sunburn. He's been hitting the beach every day. So it's a good break for the players as well to get a breather. Even though they can't go on a vacation to the Bahamas or something like that, this is a pretty good consolation prize, if it even is one.
Rumor has it there's a cannonball contest today, this afternoon. So make sure you enter it, all right?
Sounds great. I see there's some jet skis sitting out there. I might have to try one out if I have the time.
Pete
Nice.
enjoyed. It was woke up today, it was 15 degrees. So enjoy
it's cold here.
enjoy the
Yes.
balmy weather down
Yes.
there in sunny Florida. We'll be watching the skills competition tonight. We always appreciate, and you do a great job on NHL.com. We got to get you on again real soon. Have a great weekend.
Thanks so much for having me, guys. I appreciate it. And yeah, we did a big podcast yesterday, NHL Fantasy on Ice, where we talked to Barkov, a bunch of guests talking fantasy and betting angles at the halfway point in the season type thing. So go out and check it out for sure. Thanks for having me.
Nobody better than you, man. Awesome stuff.
Appreciate that. Thanks,
All right,
Vince.
you got it. There you have it. Pete Jensen from NHL.com. We'll come back. We've got some
Just really fast. So like while we're doing that, we're trying to organize this draft too. We now have
I think we're set.
Yeah, we're set. I think we're just figuring out because Jessica wanted to hop in too.
We should just have Tony be 8 and Jessica 9, or Tony 9 and Jessica 8. That's it.
Okay.
All
right.
Why does it have to be even or 8 or 10?
I mean, you're right. It's not like a real season is being played out.
Not a real size.
So let's just make it 9. Yeah. When we get back, we'll lay out the rules. We'll lay out how you got to go about drafting the teams, and we'll try to knock it out as quickly as we can. And then Tony and Ernie will be, and I already built the sheet. We'll be keeping track of everything.
We're going to do a snake draft.
Yeah, and then we'll tweet it out.
Yeah, beautiful.
Cool. This is gonna be so much fun. I'm like a little giddy boy. Yay! Woo-hoo!
Baby J, your pick is ready. You don't have the number 1 overall pick.
Baby J, you're not
here's
allowed.
the question.
You're not allowed to draft out.
Here's the question. I have the number 1 overall pick. Do I take Keith's guy?
From a fantasy standpoint, are you sure I want my guy?
Oh, no doubt.
Are you sure? Are you from a fantasy standpoint?
There's no.
I might want this guy. I don't know.
I understand. So do I take my guy and leave Keith his guy, or do I take Keith's guy and leave him my guy?
You're a jerk. All right. That's what I have to say to you, okay?
We'll come back. We'll do that. We'll set the rules. It's Moose and Keith with you on Friday right here at Bettor Sports Network.
Moose and Keith. Weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern.
The word genius is there. Bob Glover, it describes him. Bob, so when's the last time that Twitter defeated you? Because I've been defeated by Twitter today.
I'll tell you how Twitter defeated me one time. I had the mistaken impression that the year that Troy Polamalu won the Defensive Player of the Year, it looked like it was going to go to Clay Matthews Jr., and I tweeted it. And there was a guy on the media bus. He was like, oh, yeah, he's got it, a guy I trust. I won't tell you who it was, but his initials are Mike Garafalo. So I went with it. Got a DM from Rich Eisen, NFL Network. He goes, you sure about that? I go, oh, man. Oh, I just got this wave. Because, like, accuracy to me is really important. So I'm literally on the media bus. We're just getting back from media day. We are slipping and sliding in Dallas. It's snowing. I get off the bus. I open my laptop. I'm hunched over. And I just, like, literally people are passing me. Bob, what's wrong? And it was Polamalu. And Adam Schefter had retweeted me. Trey Wingo had retweeted me. I'm like, oh, I'm dead.
So when it's Polamalu, then how do you handle that? Like, what was the subsequent tweet
I think
afterwards?
I said, got some bad Twitter info. I didn't put Garafalo's name on there. I had
10 years later, you can out him. I like that. Yeah.
You know, he wouldn't mind that. He knows the stories.
Yeah.
He actually said to me, hey, Bob, I think you might have jumped the gun on that. I was like, oh, crap. There we go.
Campus to Canton on the Bettor Sports Network.
Would Dion bench Shador?
I don't think he would.
Like, how bad would it have to be? Because we've seen horrendous quarterback play from this Colorado team for the last, 5 years? JT Shroud, Brandon Lewis, just terrible quarterback play. Like, they were 131st, which is dead last in pass EPA per play. Obviously, it will be better, but how bad does it have to be for him to bench his own son? Like, I'm not sure he will ever either, like, especially with the attitude that he came in with.
If they don't get Rashada, who do they bench him for this year anyway? I don't know that there's another answer on that roster that you go to. They don't really have a guy behind him. So I don't even know if we would know the answer to that until the next year, assuming that, he doesn't declare for the draft, he returns, they bring somebody else that's competent and behind him.
If they're going to do this the Lincoln Riley way, next year would be the in. Shador Sanders is a good third-year player. So he's going to play 2023. I don't think he's declaring for the 2024 NFL draft. So he's going to play in 2024 and then declare for the 2025 NFL draft. And let's remember this. He hasn't had a full recruiting cycle at Colorado. He will have that next recruiting cycle. So maybe he could get one of these class of 2024 quarterbacks there to come to Colorado.
However you're invested in sports, from betting to fantasy, collectibles, and more, join our community on Bettor Sports Network. It's Moose and Keith with Marc Malusis and Keith Irizarry.
There you go. He's got the Jordan All-Star jersey. This could be great. So what
Yeah,
we're doing is
buddy.
Moose and Keith on a Friday. We're going to be drafting all-time NBA team. So it's not just from a pure fan. Obviously, we're talking about the all-time greats. You got to draft 2 guards, 2 forwards, and then a forward center combination.
Yeah, I felt
So
like
5.
doing the forward center thing it's just because of positionless basketball. It makes it a little bit easier. I mean, someone like Tim Duncan technically could be a forward or a center, so I think it's fine.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm definitely with you. All right, cool. So we have the draft order.
We do. So the order, and Tony did a randomizer thing online.
Okay.
So I know that there's people already think there's cahoots, but Moose has picked 1, I have picked 2, Baby J 3, Wally 4, getting the game 5, Nick Durst is 6, then Jay Cabasa, Jessica, and then producer Tony. And it is a snake draft, so Tony will have the turn. He'll get back-to-back picks.
Okay, Wally. I'm writing it down. All right, so Tony, you can hop on Mike too, because then you could organize it terms of who is next after the top pick.
All right, so Moose with the first overall pick in the Michael Jordan Day All NBA Fantasy Draft, Marc Malusis.
Yeah, I'm taking Jordan.
All right,
Michael Jordan.
All right, you already know who I'm taking. I'm taking LeBron.
Yes.
I'll slot him in at a forward spot for now, but LeBron can literally play any position I want him to. Baby J, team number 3, you are on the clock. Baby J's got Kobe. Okay. So Baby J already lost. All right, cool.
Take Kobe.
All right. Wally is going Tim Duncan. Wally, do you want him at forward or center? Your choice. You tell me. Just throw it in there if you don't mind. Center. Okay. So Wally has Duncan.
Wow, over Kareem?
Yeah, look at that. And then getting the game is going to take Magic. We'll put him at guard. Love it. Nick Durst, who you got? Bill Russell. All right. All right. Jay Cabasa.
Jay Cabasa.
So Jay Cabasa's up. So already off the board, Jordan, LeBron.
Kobe, Duncan, Magic, and Russell.
Exactly.
Yes.
He wants Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice, I'm sure, was probably a pretty good basketball player.
Yeah, right. Baby J.
All right. Come on, Jay Cabasa. Don't ruin the draft in the first round, literally.
Jay Cabasa might have dropped.
Yeah. All right. Ernie, who you got for him? Ernie, make his pick.
You got to take Kareem.
All right. So Kareem it is. So Kareem goes 7. All right. So we're going to make this the Jay Cabasa Ernie team. That just happened.
All right.
Jessica, who do you have? Magic was already taken.
Oh, Jay Cabasa's here. Okay. So Jay, Ernie took Kareem for you. Is that okay?
He has no say. He already tried to ruin this draft for us. Kareem is on his team. All right, she'll take Wilt.
That's a good pick.
Yeah. All right. Producer
Now,
Tony. You got
all right,
picks.
I'm going the Big O, Oscar Robinson, and I'm going Shaq.
Oh, another great one.
Shaq at 10. Shaq at 10 is a nice pick. I like that.
Um
Jessica, back to you for pick number 11. All right, Larry Bird. I was hoping somehow he would last. The Jacob Asa-Ernie team. They're now in a partnership. They've become best friends. They're going to go do karate in the garage.
Jay, you've got Kareem. Who do you want now?
9 teams. This is going to be a little bit tough. Also, not the easiest for you or I trying to MC this and then also have to try to figure out who our next picks are too.
Yeah, I think the biggest reach, you can't go Kobe 3rd overall.
No, a terrible pick. Jacob Asa Magic is taken. Already been tried, attempted to be taken twice.
Kareem 7th overall.
It's a good pick.
That's a great pick.
Yeah.
Jay, so here you have on the board right now, you have Dirk, Garnett, Hakeem.
Some of the
Wade,
current guys, the
Julius
Giannis's,
Erving.
the Stephs, the
Yeah.
Durants. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Durant.
All right, Garnett it is.
Garnett. Okay.
All right, so Garnett goes 12. All right. Next pick is Nick Durst. Kevin Durant goes 13. Get in the game. Who you got at the 14th pick? Steph, you jerk. Was hoping he was going to fall to me. All right, 14th pick goes Steph. Double his real pick. All right, Wally, with Tim Duncan already in your lineup. Giannis. It's a good defensive team. That's 15. All right, Baby J, already with Kobe. Do you want Pau Gasol? Kevin Garnett was already taken. We're playing basketball. Yeah, Wally, you tell him.
Jay. Yeah, Boo, pay attention, kid.
Yeah, you tell
Kid. Oh, my
Jason
God.
Kidd. That's
Kidd.
an interesting team. Okay, that's number 16. It's now me.
Yeah.
Let me just make sure I'm not missing anybody. From a fantasy standpoint, I will take. You guys might think I'm crazy, but I'm taking Akeem Olajuwon, putting him at my center spot.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll take Akeem. Yep, that's the 17th pick. You have number 18 and 19.
I will take. I'll take Dirk and Dr. J.
Nice. So Dirk is number 18. Dirk first.
Yeah.
Dr. J at 19. And then I will take Kevin Durant at 20. So I have LeBron, Kevin Durant, and Akeem Olajuwon.
I thought Durant was already taken.
I don't believe. Who took Durant?
Nick Durst.
Yes.
Oh, he did at 13. That is my bad. Thank you, Tony.
Ooh.
Hey, I'm trying to MC this, I'm trying to do multiple things here, all right?
You got Wade on the board.
No,
the
thank
mailman.
No, this is a fantasy draft. Let me get. No, wait, it's a fantasy draft, right? You want to laugh? But it's a fantasy team.
Well, we're drafting your top NBA all-time team. That was the conversation we were having. Yeah.
So that becomes tough because there's one player here. I don't know if he's considered an all-time great, but he'd be great for a fantasy standpoint. What am I? I need a guard, maybe. Man, I'm ruining this. I'm crushing you guys right now.
Come on, Keith.
All right. I'm going to take Allen Iverson.
Allen Iverson.
Yep.
Nice. AI.
All right. So Iverson at 20.
Okay.
Baby J, what do you got? Did he already pick Barkley, or were you suggesting him to me?
No, you're suggesting him to you, I believe.
Unless that's your actual pick. Jokic. That's not a bad pick at 21. Thank you, Jessica, about my Allen Iverson story. Yes, I now have the two players on my team that I have legit stories about, Iverson and LeBron James. I like stories, All right, Wally, you're up with pick number 22. Nice, Karl Malone. That is going to be a hard team to score against. Malone, Giannis, and Duncan.
Yeah.
On Wally's team. It'll be a difficult team to score against. Yes. All right, get in the game. You're up with pick number 23. On 23 day, Shaq was already taken.
Yes.
This will happen. Listen, I made the mistake. A couple people have made the mistake. Moose won't make the mistake because he's the best.
No.
Definition of perfection.
George Mikan.
Hair looks good today. Jerry West. All right. Jerry West. Yeah, we can put him at forward. 23. And Nick Durst with the Kobe pick, number 24. Already with Kevin Durant and Bill Russell, going with John Stockton, very overrated point guard. All right.
Yeah, Bob Cousy is still on the board.
He is still available. Yes. The Jacob Asa Ernie partnership. You think they're texting each other on the side? Who do you want? No, who do you want? You're taking Derrick Rose. Okay.
Wait,
That's
what?
he took prime D Rose. I mean, all right.
No, you didn't.
That's what he did.
Oh my, dude, come on.
Look at you, Moose. Why are you so mean? You don't have to be so mean.
I like Derrick Rose.
Jessica, you're on the clock.
You can't take Derrick Rose. Come on, Jacob. You can't. You can't take Derrick Rose there.
Charles Barkley is still there. Yes, you got him. Barkley at 26. We got producer Tony now on back-to-back picks, 27, 28.
I am going to go with Luka as my 20th pick or my third pick.
Number 27, your third
27.
pick. Yeah. Are you putting him at forward or guard?
I'm going to put him at my guard
with Big O. Okay.
And I am going to go with Moses Malone at my forward position.
Nice. At 28. Back to you, Jessica. Isaiah Thomas, Bad Boys version. That's a nice pick. Like that a lot. That's 29. All right, pick number 30. We go back to the driving Jacob Asa with producer Ernie Acosta. James Worthy is still available, Scott. Big game, James. I like that other people that are not in the draft are starting to hop in. Like, all right, can I be a part of this? I don't believe you can, Ernie. I don't believe you can draft him. You don't have a spot for him.
The Admiral. Ernie wants the Admiral.
But I don't think you can take him. You have Garnett and Kareem already.
No, you can't.
I mean, he's not a forward like that. I'm
Never mind.
So you need a forward or a guard?
Forward. Yeah. There's plenty of guys out there.
Oh, yeah. Guys. You going Scottie Pippen? Is that what I hear? Scottie Pippen is the pick. So Scottie Pippen at 30. All right. Moving along. Nick Durst. What other overrated player will Nick Durst go for now? He's already got John Stockton on his team. Dirk was taken. I think Moose has him.
I have Dirk, yes. Dirk is off the board.
I think Nick Durst is going to go with someone like Mitch Richmond. Tom Chambers is available, guys. Tom Chambers.
Gary Payton.
Bobby Sura.
Bobby Sura, great name. Great player, Florida State. Love that.
It was Bobby Sura, Sam Cassell. Who was the other one? Who was the three? It was three Florida State guys.
Yeah, I forget who.
Charlie Ward.
Yes.
Nick Durst is taking Chris Paul, going really small in the backcourt. Chris Paul and John Stockton in the backcourt. Okay. Get in the game. Needs a forward and another big man. Has Magic, Steph, and Jerry West. This is fun. I like drafts.
I like this. It's fun.
I like doing the drafts. Yeah. And this will end up taking
West is off the board, right?
about 20 minutes. Yeah, Jerry West is gone. Yes,
Yes.
Jerry West. So getting the game is up. Took Magic with his first pick.
Byron
Steph
Scott
with the next one, and then Jerry West was pick number 23. Getting the game. Yeah, we can maybe do a baseball one next week. Yeah. Anthony Davis. I guess you're going to put him at your center, I'm assuming.
Oh my God, street clothes.
Anthony Davis is pick number 32. All right. One of the 75 greatest players of all time, as per a list. As per a list. All right, Wally, what do you got for us? You need guards. Oscar's already taken. Can I put Kobe at the 3? No. Unless Moose wants to overrule me. I never viewed Kobe as anything but a guard.
No, you can't. No, he's a guard.
Yeah. Sorry.
No.
Yeah. Baby
Chris
J calling
Paul.
out Wally. I like it.
Paul's off the board.
Chris Paul's out, yes. Yeah.
Pick in
It has to be.
Frazier.
Clyde.
Like it.
That was pick 33. Okay. Baby J is up already with Kobe, Jason Kidd, and Jokic. Needs 2 forwards for Baby J. Yeah, good job. Kawhi Leonard. Okay.
All right.
That is pick number 34. And does that bring it to me now?
Yeah.
All right. I will take. It's a fantasy draft. I need some winners too. I am going to take. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm taking Dwayne Wade.
Oh, that stinks.
Were you going to take him?
Yeah.
Nice. I love when I snipe people. Love it. Saw Dwayne Wade play at a camp once too, so there's another story. The only one I have no stories for is Akeem Olajuwon. No stories for Akeem. All right, so that was pick number 35. Moose has picked 36 and 37 coming up. It'll be his final 2 picks. Moose already has Michael Jordan, Dirk Nowitzki, and Dr. J. Some would say Dr. J, a bit of a reach at 19. Those would be young people.
I'll take Patrick.
Okay. Patrick Ewing.
So Dirk will be one of my forwards. Ewing will be obviously my center. Patrick.
Got it. And now you need a guard. So Moose is on the clock. Still needs a guard.
Yes.
He won't take Reggie Miller because he grew up a Knicks fan.
I had my team lined up. Dude, that sucked.
I'm intrigued while Moose sits here. I'm fascinated to see what big name players end up not getting drafted. Like when we look back at 9, so 45 players are going to be taken. We have 9 teams. There are going to be a few names where you're like, I can't believe that guy wasn't drafted. All right, Moose, we need your pick.
Yeah, I'll take John Havlicek.
All right, Havlicek. Havlicek is pick number 36, 37. So you're done. And now I need to go. And I need a forward. Again, this is a fantasy team. And I have Iverson plays defense. Wade plays a little bit of defense. LeBron plays a lot of defense. Akeem was a defensive player of the year. I know you're going to think I'm clearly a basketball fan of the 90s. Give me Carmelo Anthony.
Oh.
At 38. My team will score, and my team plays defense.
Is Elgin Baylor still on the board?
Elgin Baylor's still out there.
How do you not? Elgin Baylor's a top 20 player of all time.
So is Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony's he's not. But Carmelo Anthony's going to hit me some threes. I need someone to hit 3-pointers on this team. Remember, it's a fantasy team, right?
No, I Moses Malone is still out there.
No, he's not. He was taken.
Oh, was he taken?
I looked. I looked really fast. I wanted Moses.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry. Baby J is up. Baby J is taking Dennis Rodman. Okay. At 39. Yep. All right. Pick number 40 for Wally's team. He needs a guard. Already has. Who's he taking? Elgin Baylor?
Elgin Baylor.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Elgin Baylor can be 3 or 4, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Elgin
Baylor's
Baylor.
forward, yeah.
So that is pick number 30. What number is that? Oh, I put him on the wrong one. That's pick number 40.
Yeah, we have 5 picks left.
Yep. Elgin Baylor, pick number 40. All right. Get in the game needs a forward. I mean, I'm with I'm with Jessica, by the way.
I love my
Elgin Baylor is like. Wait, hold on. Can we stop for a second? Are we okay with Elgin Baylor being listed as a guard in this? Because I thought he was a forward.
He's a forward.
So Wally can't take him.
No, he can't. If he has 2 forwards, he cannot.
He can't.
No.
Wally has Carmelo and Giannis and Duncan. Sorry, Wally,
No.
you cannot take Elgin
You need a
Baylor. We're
guard.
wiping him
You need a
away.
guard. But Elgin Baylor, let's not insult the NBA. Elgin Baylor's got to be drafted by somebody before this draft goes out.
Wally's going to take Reggie Miller. Okay.
Okay.
So Reggie Miller goes here at 40. Get in the game. Do you still want Rick Barry, or are you switching over to Elgin Baylor? Get in the game is going to Elgin. Okay.
Yeah.
Baylor at 41. I like getting the games. Yeah, getting the game's got a fun team. Nick Durst has Stockton, Chris Paul. Lots of passing, not as much scoring there. Giannis was definitely taken. You have Kevin Durant and Bill Russell. Need a forward from Nick Durst. Otto Porter is still available. I don't know what name that is.
Giannis was taken a while back.
Yeah, Charles Barkley was also
Barkley's
taken.
off the board.
Yep, off the board.
So is Bargelet.
Yeah, I don't know who Bargelet is, but actually Bargelet's available.
Bargelet's off. I love my team. Jordan, Havlicek, Irving, Nowitzki, and Ewing.
Dominique Wilkins.
Oh, Dominique.
That's a good one.
The human
I
highlight.
like that.
Film, no doubt.
Dominique Wilkins goes at what pick was that? That was pick 42.
Wilt got picked.
42.
If Wilt didn't get picked by this point, like we
all deserve to just be. We're all failures.
We should light this draft on fire. We'd lose all credibility whatsoever. That's the point.
The Cabasa Ernie team needs a guard. Has Kareem, James Harden. Okay. Again, from a fantasy standpoint, that's a good one. James Harden is pick 43. Jessica, pick number 44. You need a guard. Jessica already has Tuss, has Bird, Barkley, and Wilt. Definitely go with an older team. No current players whatsoever. Unless maybe you want to go with the Washington version of Isaiah Thomas also. Sidney Moncrief. Okay.
Oh, Sidney Moncrief. Nice.
That is pick number 44. And with the final pick of the inaugural Moose and Keith fantasy draft, live off the cuff, off the top of our heads, with no production value whatsoever because we came up with it, and all producers are probably mad at Keith and Moose for doing this. But anyway, here we go. Producer Tony, you have a microphone. You can announce your final pick.
Quick question. Are we considering Luka a guard or a forward?
I mean, he could be both.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I am going to go with kind of an off-the-wall pick, Elvin Hayes.
Oh, Elvin Hayes. Love it. Ode to history. Love it, Tony. That's a good pick.
Elvin Hayes is pick number 45. My father is watching right now and is upset that Pistol Pete was not drafted and upset that Clyde Drexler was not drafted.
Did we miss Russell Westbrook also?
We did, and that was the name that I was going to do. So remember when I was saying, like, you guys are going to make fun of me for this, and I went Iverson instead of Westbrook? I went Iverson instead of Westbrook, yes. So Westbrook is not on there. That is definitely an interesting one to not be there.
That is. You're right. I love my team.
So Moose, Jordan, Havlicek, Dirk, Dr. J, and Ewing.
Oh, my God. So good.
Keith, Iverson, Wade, LeBron, Carmelo, Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah.
Baby J, Kobe, Kid, Kawhi, Dennis Rodman, Jokic.
Okay.
Wally, Reggie Miller, Walt Frazier, Karl Malone, Giannis, and Duncan. Get in the Game has Magic, Steph, Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, and Anthony Davis. Nick Durst, Stockton, Chris Paul, Dominique Wilkins, Kevin Durant, Bill Russell. Jacob Assa Ernie has Derrick Rose, James Harden, Scottie
Prime
Pippen,
Rose.
Kevin Garnett, and Kareem.
Yeah.
Prime Rose, yeah.
Yeah, Prime Rose.
Jessica out of the 8th spot has Isaiah Thomas, the Pistons version, Sidney Moncrief, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley, Wilt Chamberlain.
Great team.
And producer Tony, Oscar Luca, Elvin Hayes, Moses Malone, and Shaq. That was cool.
That was great. I love my team. Like I do. Jordan, Havlicek, Ewing, Irving, and Nowitzki. Imagine Dr. J and Jordan on the, flying up the court together.
That would be
Prime
fun.
Dr. J.
Uh-oh.
Fantastic.
We already have people wanting to call in and defend their teams. Watch this. I had a feeling this was going to happen. Everyone's going to want to, everyone's going to want to defend their team now. So Jacob Assa is going to join us.
Yeah.
The resident San Francisco 49ers fan. Here we go. Beard is looking glorious. Yes, just be careful.
Yeah, the team's terrible.
So I'm going to defend my D Rose case. That's what I'm going to do.
Go ahead. The youngest MVP in the history of the league.
I even stopped driving to have this conversation. So my only argument is this: D Rose in his prime, I know it was short-lived, but D Rose in his prime was a top 3 guard in the league, and I believe if healthy, he's probably right there with a Kyrie, with a Steph. So I'm being biased. I think he was that amazing of a talent.
A youngest MVP in NBA history.
He has an MVP.
Yep.
He was a beast. He was an absolute monster.
4 years, he was one of the top 7 or 8 players in the NBA.
Yeah, I'd take him over John Stockton.
For the longevity of the career, you can't.
The career. You're talking about like
not the longevity, but I'm just saying if you compare the athlete, the player versus
who's the MVP of the league.
Yeah, I mean,
I get it, but you do have to have some length to it, right?
So that's the question. That would be the question. If you were building a team with if you literally put prime in front of each one of the players, sure, your team's amazing. Yes, I agree. But the longevity of Rose hurts a little bit. Scottie Pippen being, Robin, not Batman, I would think hurts a little bit. James Harden.
So I was actually thinking more. For that pick, Ernie beat me to the punch. I was going to go with Carmelo, only because I wanted like a pure shooter.
Yeah, and that's what I did. Yeah.
But I ain't mad. I like Pippen. I think Pippen was underrated, but he only averaged 19, 20 points a game. Yep. So you have to put perspective where it is.
There you go. All right, Jacob Assa, drive safe, man.
You're the best, Jay.
Thank you.
All right. I think we have more people wanting to call in and defend their teams. I knew this was this is great. This is fantastic. All right. Can we
Sidney Moncrief for Jessica Brand. Good morning, Jessica. How are you?
I'm having problems sending Jessica to the stage. So if one of the producers could do that, for some reason it's not clicking. Maybe because I put Jacob Assa up and they're not letting me do it on my side.
Let's see if I can do it.
See if you can try to do that.
No, it says it's been moved to backstage. I don't know what's going on.
All right. We might have to wait a second for that. But yeah, this was good. All right. Now I think we got it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So we'll bring Jessica on now. Betting on Brand, regular contributor to the show. Jessica, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep, we're good.
All right. Okay. Defend your team. Go.
Yeah. So I'm pretty happy with what I got. I was debating between Drexler and really a few others for the final pick. I wanted a little bit more defense in the backcourt, cause I know it's a fantasy team and that's not as pertinent, but I felt like that was important to have to show balance there, basically. So I'm pretty happy with everything else, honestly. I felt like I got best available pretty much everywhere else. So I feel like Larry, you're going to get everything. I mean, you look at some of these 50. Look at who has the most 50-point games in the 60s, though. Like you have Wilt. You have Wilt at like 60 something, and then that's like triple anybody else. So you're going to get boards. You're going to get points. That fills those stats immediately. Basically, if you're just using historical logs, that makes sense to me. Because who else was on those Warrior teams? Who else was on
it's
those
true.
Laker teams, right? Yeah, not many people you trust from a fantasy perspective.
What is there anybody? Is there any pick, Jessica, that you wanted that you were harping in on that got taken right before you? Like Keith took Dwayne Wade from me.
Yeah, D Wade was someone I was looking at. Ricky Miller I was looking at because I was looking at a lot of two guards. I just wanted to get someone who was really a 3-point specialist, honestly, and both those guys went. So I was considering Ray Allen, but I felt like you don't get much else from Ray Allen.
Yeah, what else besides the shooting and the free throws? I mean, you'll lead your team in free throw percentage. That's great. But
yeah, and I figure I have Thomas who can give me free throws, so that's really not even that much of an upgrade, honestly. Yeah.
All right.
So
Jessica, good stuff.
Yeah, we have Sharapan coming up. I want to try to get Baby J in here really fast too. Baby J wants to defend his team, so we'll see if we can sneak Baby J in there. Moose, why don't you go read Baby J's team for us? Do you have it?
I do not.
I have it. All right. So Kobe, Kidd, Kawhi, Dennis Rodman, and Jokic. Speak on it, Baby J.
I got 3 triple-double machines. Y'all not messing with that. Kobe, the second coming of Mike, and Dennis Rodman's beating up everybody that y'all bring on the court. Let's just start there. And just wanted to say, Jay Kabasi, your team is garbage, bro. D-Rose. Yo, y'all were better off letting Ernie pick Derek Jeter on his team.
I think Mickey Mantle is his sixth man.
That's all I wanted to say, man. Y'all have a good day, man.
You got it. Thanks,
that was great. He wanted to come on more to trash other people than to actually defend his own team.
That's awesome.
That was awesome.
No, that was great. We got to post that on social all the
time.
time.
Please do. Please do.
We got to do that again. We got to do the
maybe we'll do a baseball one coming up.
Yeah.
Really fast. Hey, remember yesterday, Jessica was we gave her a task. So the future bet for Super Bowl MVP, all from FanDuel, if you were to put $86.64 on Jalen Hurts, if you did $7.66 on Miles Sanders, and $5.69 on Hassan Reddick, you will come out $99 up.
If one of those,
you got to spend $100, right?
Like
so you got to do 8. I'll lower it for you. Just make it easier. $86 on Hurts, $8 on Miles Sanders, and almost $6 on Hassan Reddick. As long as one of those 3 wins the Super Bowl MVP, you will make $99.
Love it. Great
That's
idea.
not bad.
That's not bad. Not bad at all. Thank you, Jessica, betting on brand. Fantastic. She joins us each and every day. And good job by you, Keith. I love that fantasy draft. Good idea.
The top of our
we were
heads.
able to hammer it out, no doubt. Join Campus to Canton tonight, 7 Eastern for college football talk, including transfers, coaching changes, spring practice previews, and more, plus news and strategies for fantasy football dynasty leagues on Campus to Canton tonight at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, right here, Bettor Sports Network. If you missed the show, hear it wherever you are, whenever you want, with BSN on demand. Sharapan, we head out to Vegas, joins us next. It's a Friday. Moose and Keith with you, Bettor Sports Network.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
Before the year, I said the Eagles were going to win the NFC East. I don't know if you remember that. I am a Cowboys fan. I do hate the Eagles. But anyone who has listened to me over the years knows that I can be objective. So I tweeted out, has there ever been a team that has an easier path to the Super Bowl than Philadelphia? Of course, the Eagles fans got on me. And I wasn't really alluding to the regular season. I know the tweet could be taken that way. But when you look at this playoff path, they had a first-round bye, then they beat the Giants, okay? But anyone who was being reasonable, especially with Jalen Hurts, knew the Giants were not in the class of Philadelphia. Then you get to the NFC Championship game where the quarterback got hurt early in the game. And then the 4th-string quarterback, Josh Johnson, leaves with a concussion. And then they couldn't pass the ball. That's your path to getting to the Super Bowl. It doesn't mean that I'm saying the Eagles suck. I never said that. People are so sensitive. Anyone who's listened to me all year, I have given this team props. But the fact is, they had an easy path. And like, well, they destroyed both teams. They did. Now, the 49ers are good. And then someone's like, oh, well, they beat your Cowboys. Who did I pick to win last week? San Francisco, right? I picked San Francisco to beat Dallas. I didn't want that to happen, but I'm analyzing the game. I despise the Yankees. Anyone who knows me knows that. I had every Yankee starting pitcher on a fantasy roster last year. Every one of them. This year, the Superflex draft that we did, an industry draft, I took Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones, Kadarius Toney. And people afterwards, no, bro, I want to win. It doesn't matter what team they're on. I don't win. I despise those teams, yes, but I want to win. If I feel they're the best fit for my fantasy team, I'm going to draft them. If I feel a bet is going to win and I hate that team, I'm going to bet it. It's about winning. It's about helping people make money. We all have that little bias in us, no doubt. But I will say this, I'm being honest. I hope Philadelphia gets smoked in the Super Bowl, okay? I am rooting for Kansas City. My man Patrick Mahomes, dad played for the Mets. But I will analyze the game objectively, okay? Because I want the Eagles to lose. That doesn't mean I'm picking Kansas City. I'm going to analyze the game because I'm going to look at it as if I'm putting my money down. So it has nothing to do with that. And I don't know why people automatically, oh, you're a Cowboys fan, this and that. Well, yeah, I see your stupid avatar that you're an Eagles fan. You're clearly biased. Can we just agree that the path was easy? It doesn't diminish that they're in the Super Bowl. I didn't say they suck. I didn't say they don't deserve to be there. I just said the path was easy, and I don't think that's factually incorrect. And I didn't mean it for the regular season. I know it could be interpreted that way. Did they have great wins? No, but you know what? It doesn't matter. They were 14-3. They beat everyone they're supposed to beat. You know, they lost 2 games without Jalen Hurts. It's not discrediting him.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com. Weekdays at 5 Eastern on Bettor Sports Network. It's Moose and Keith with Marc Malusis and Keith Irizarry.
That's it. Sharapan joins us now. Let's head out to Vegas. Everyone's got all-star jerseys on. Keith's got his all-star Jordan jersey. Sharapan's got, I think, his NHL all-star jersey on.
There it is. Woo!
Let's go. Let's go.
Very nice.
Listen, some of us are all-stars and some of us are moose.
That's just not nice.
That's
really not nice.
That was uncalled for. It was rude, and I apologize. It'll never happen again.
Yeah. You guys know the all-time story of the star and the question and the answer, right? Dave Parker, one of my all-time favorite players of all time.
The Cobra.
The Cobra, right? They used to play this Cobra music in the stadium. Every time he came up, his walk-up music was the Cobra music. Anyhow, someone asked him after a game, why are you wearing a Star David? You know, and he goes, well, because my name is David and I'm a star. Literally, that was his answer. I remember being 9 and hearing that and said, Mom, Dad, can I go get a Star David, please?
That's awesome.
And now we get to wear all-star jerseys on All-Star Day.
Yeah.
I figured you for a Jordan. Listen, when I saw the tweet early in the morning here at the house, and we had a lot of chaos at the house.
I'm sure. Yep.
I said, KI is minus 8,000 to be wearing something Jordan today.
I mean, it's 2-3-2-3, right? Gotta. So the way the story goes is this morning I was explaining to my 8-year-old son, Alex, what today was, the date, and he thought it was cool, right? So he put his Jordans on, his sneakers. My older son, Austin, left already this morning with his new J's also. And then I'm like, oh, wait, I have a Jordan jersey. So I'm like, I'm going to do that. And then I'm like, you know what? I also have these that I might as well just I don't wear them that much.
Put them in the package.
I don't wear them that often.
Tight, like the kids say, those are tight.
Yeah, these were the Jordans that were banned, right?
Man.
Oh,
I think I've worn them like 3 or 4 times total.
They're beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. They so Jody had wanted to get me a pair of Jordans, and we were on that GOAT site, you know, looking at all the sneakers, and these came across. I'm like, wow, they're really cool. They're way too expensive. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. That's silly. I'm not spending that kind of money on sneakers. And she's like,
Four figures? They charge you will they charge you a dime for those?
It's a lot of money, yes.
It's a dime for a pair of shoes. Like,
no,
what is wrong with this?
A little bit less than that. A little bit less than that. A little bit less.
$8.99.
Yeah, a little bit less than that. So
$8.50.
And I say I'm not doing that, right? So she says to me, she goes, with how hard you work. And this is where I will give credit to my wife. She's an amazing human being. She goes, with how hard you work, you never spend money on anything. Like I don't overindulge on anything. She's like, just get them. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. Guess what? A week later, she got them for me.
Oh, so nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
She get them in the right size?
Yeah, she knows my size. Yes. Yeah. Size 12s, baby.
Size 12s.
Yeah.
No, it would have been funny.
I would have made you for an 11. I didn't know. But we've never met in person, so I would have had. I had you as an
5'10", size 12. You know.
5'10", size.
Really big hands too. Big hands, big feet. You know what they say about guys with big hands and big feet. Need big gloves and socks.
That's right.
Yep. Moose is like, what are we doing?
I don't know. What are we talking about? What are we going to? I wear a size 13 and a half.
Why? You ain't got to say nothing.
Hey! Look at Moose just throwing everything out there on the table.
These guys talking about size 11, 12, 13 and a half. I got to get my skates specially made. Guys with big feet, big heads, too. Man, gotta say nothing. Gotta say nothing.
That's it, right? Exactly. I wear clown shoes. It's basically when I walk in.
They actually call Moose Flipper.
That's it. Right. That's it.
Yeah.
It's like I look like Goofy in like the Disney cartoons.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's weird.
Size 13 and a half.
13,
shoe. They call them other things too, if you know what I'm saying. I know what you're saying. That's pretty good.
Dave, what has been your early and kind of feel on Vegas?
Moose unable to get his question out.
Like,
he's like, I'm still thinking about flippers.
No, Super Bowl 57, because we talked a little bit about it, earlier in the week. But what has been kind of the buzz around Vegas about the matchup and this week and the build up to what it's going to be next week?
It's interesting because it used to be the place you had to go to get all the stuff. Everybody was waiting for us in Vegas to put out props and to, generate interest and all this other stuff. It's a calm after the, storm of the championship games. It's 3-4 days of grinding and meetings and what are you going to make this number? And in between trying to manage your college basketball board every day, you go, okay, what are we doing? And now they got the Pro Bowl here. And there's people here, but there's no one here for the Pro Bowl. They're just here, and they're going to Pro Bowl events and other things. If the week between, I know why the NFL does it, but it's a buzzkill. It's just it kind of slows down a little of the momentum. It really picks up after this weekend. All the professional bettors come in. The Westgate released props yesterday. It's a lot of the same guys. It's almost like a meeting every year. They come in. You don't see them all year. You see them on social media. You don't see them in books, and everybody's in. So I'll be heading down to the Westgate today to pick up I don't know, it might be 38 pages, front and back, legal size paper of props. I still like the paper, Moose. I still like to hold it in my hands and write notes and look at stuff. So it's all that. The other thing that's a buzz is this. I mean, you gave me a math problem to figure out with this. I can't wait to see what you decide as far as your contest and all that other stuff you got. I literally was trying to work out all the options and all the things.
Yeah,
my head hurt for about an hour after you and I got off the phone.
Yeah, so I
explain that to the people who weren't on the phone with you.
I texted Keith and Dave the other day to get their advice on something because I split an entry and we had a couple entries, but it's like $100 buy-in playoff knockout pool, and we're alive to the Philadelphia Eagles. So it was $100 buy-in. It's a pretty good chunk of change that it's worth. We could, in essence, we're one of 15 that can take the Eagles, and there's 25 people that can take the Chiefs. So the first thing you need to have happen is you need obviously the Eagles to win the Super Bowl. Now, if the Eagles win the Super Bowl, you can claim, you can go one of two ways. You can either, and he's taking a vote on it, claim, your part or section of the 1/15th of the pool, which would be about $2,100.
Okay.
Or you could say, all right, I will go all in, and the tiebreaker will be total points in the game.
Whew.
To where the pot is, the pot conceivably is going to be over, 30. So, like, what do you do in that instance? Because it's just a huge
What
gamble.
way do you lose? Give me the two ways you lose.
Chiefs
win.
Yep.
Out.
You're out.
Okay.
And if you're and if you go the big pot thing and you don't win the tiebreaker.
Correct.
Dave, can I go first?
Yeah, go.
I would take the $2,100 and pay for league fees and skate fees and all that kind of stuff for my boys.
Yeah.
Dave?
I said it in the text, which then prompted the phone call.
Yeah, even I talked for about 20 minutes the other morning.
That 21, that pays for, ice time.
Yep.
Yeah.
It gets Donna a nice lunch or dinner, maybe a massage.
It
gets you off. It buys you time. It buys you another day.
It gets me out of the doghouse for
24 hours. It's a pass out. I mean, you know where you live. You know how hard it is. It's
right.
fine.
Okay. So the buy-in was, it cost me, $150 to get in. So
So what I presented was the first thing you got to do is bet the Chiefs. Just bet the Chiefs on the money line for the entry fee. So that way you cover something.
Oh, so you take you $150 right away and just bet, find whatever book has the best number and do the Chiefs money line.
And do the Chiefs money line. Now the problem is if the Eagles win and then you lose the tiebreaker, then you're out double.
Then I'm out
of
double
what the investment was. And then you feel like a real, Bubba Luke. So you got to go, okay, now what do we do? You could take the points alternate spread, Chiefs or Eagles plus 7.5, lay a little bit of extra juice, cover it that way. You're going to have to gamble a little, but you got to get something for your time. You can't get this far with a shot at a big pie like that, I think, and just go, all right, let's just go for it. Let's put in 47 for the total. Hope it falls close to that total for the tiebreaker. And then you could possibly even split that. Because of the 15 people, you're probably not going to be the only one with a number. I mean, unless somebody, I would guess that whoever else is in it is going to seek advisors.
Yeah, he wants, the other person he wants to go for it. And so then I said, well, what about if I choose to split? And he goes, well, then we'll flip a coin to figure out which way we decide to go.
All right, but I guess Dave is probably right then. So you take your 150 and you throw that on the Chiefs money line. So now you know that you're going to win something if the Chiefs win.
Yeah. Right.
And you could win the $30-something thousand if you get the tiebreaker correct. So now what's the third option to cover his butt? So he has to then
third
take.
Option that would be point total, right? Playing the total.
As long as you know, KI, everybody's number. But okay. Going once.
Once everyone puts it in like tomorrow, for Thursday.
Right. Say it's, say that ideally you get it in, you get everybody's thing, and you make sure the guy running the pool says, are we going to know the tiebreakers? Am I going to know what I need before the game?
Yeah, we should know the tiebreakers beforehand.
Yeah.
You should, because now you need to know, you have to have all the pieces to a puzzle to complete the puzzle.
Right.
So you get all the numbers that you need. So say you go with 52. And you know that if you get 52, 51, or 53, you're winning it. But someone else has 50. Someone else has 47. You can bet the exact score in a Super Bowl. You can pick the number of points scored in the Super Bowl. I haven't looked, but 47 points may pay 150 to 1. So you can spray $10 on all the other numbers.
I could go all the other numbers around it. So if I don't win, I still win.
Right. Yes.
Oh,
if you don't win,
I didn't even
your
think
number.
about that.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get to, and I knew that Dave would be able to explain that a little better than me. That's why I was asking the questions that way. There are probably 4 or 5 ways that he can make sure that he will win something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
And actually, I might be low on that. There might be more ways than that.
So let me
There
ask
are.
you, with
Yeah.
all of that, what do you think I should do? Do you think, well, I mean, even if I say, let's, take the whatever, I still then would have to win a coin because my buddy, he wants to go for it because he's like, listen, it wasn't a huge buy-in. We have a shot at a huge pot. Why not take the shot at the huge pot?
It's a great story. I think, I mean,
Like,
right,
and I'm
remember the
like,
movie-
and I'm
you
like,
remember the
yeah,
movie
I know.
Rounders?
but- Yeah.
You remember the movie Rounders when
Yeah.
he said, you always go for it. Worm, you always go for it. This
Yeah.
is the problem.
Check,
like you
get
always
check,
go
get check,
for it.
get check.
Right? Like, so sometimes you got to go for it. Sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
Seriously. But like you're going for it, but you're going to make sure
I
the other ways.
Yeah.
If the Super Bowl allows you the opportunity because it's the last game to make sure you're going to get something.
All right, so what about this? All right, here we go. I without looking at the odds, and Jessica, you're in the chat right now, so maybe you could check, you could fact check me really fast. Would this work if you do go for it? Okay, so you go for the $30-something thousand. You do $100 on the Chiefs money line, find the best odds. You take $25 on the over and $25 on the under. Would I come out a winner no matter what? That's four ways to do something.
Wait, so I'm playing Chiefs money line.
Yeah, at like $100, let's say.
25 over, 25 under.
Yeah. And then knowing that you also have the chance to win the big pot.
Right. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
You're going to bet both
That- I'm-
sides of the game?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't even know if that makes sense.
No, but then I'm eliminating the over under on myself because I'm betting at $25 each way.
You're right. It doesn't make sense. That's why this is hard to do right here. Okay.
No.
Right,
Right.
yeah.
So I would think that the best way was like Dave mentioning it where, and then figuring out what total you go. But if you go say 49 and then you figure out what the other people around you that are, then you bet each of those individual numbers. And then if you hit, you hit. If you lose, you still hit.
You win no matter what, based on the odds of hitting the exact score. Especially when it's a bad number like 56. If someone else has that and they're going to win this big pot at 30 dimes or something, well, 56 may be 300 to 1. You could put $10 on and make, if that hits, you lose the 30,000, but you win 3.
Yeah.
$10 to win 3,000.
Yeah.
So you could spray the board. I mean, you're going to have 10 options. You're going to have to spend another $100. There's an old saying, right? Scared money don't make money. That's one.
Yeah.
And you got to spend money to make money. That's another one.
Yes.
That goes back to just life in general.
Yes.
Apple doesn't
Right?
fall far from the tree. Either.
Right.
It doesn't. It does not. It does not. Because sometimes you got to do that. This is one of those instances. I mean, I literally for 30 minutes after Moose and I got off the phone, I thought of two things. I thought, all right, we got to come up with a scenario where Moose walks away with at least a nickel.
Yep.
Just for his pocket and his time.
Yeah.
A nickel minimum. I like walking around with a nickel. Like that's good walking around money. You feel good.
Yeah, you feel good,
like,
right.
You feel good. Anything that could come up and somebody comes up to you and, it gives you a horse, you got money to do it.
Yeah.
Anything can happen with a nickel in your pocket. It's a lot of walking around money for a lot of people. I like that.
Someone's
And two,
got selling jerseys,
It happens.
Yeah.
I've bought jerseys in the sports book before. Who knew
Oh,
they
I
were
knew you
coming?
would.
I had
Yeah.
cash on me. Boom, boom, boom. And the second thing I thought of was Moose driving into work every day in that traffic. And I had to go for a walk. I was like, oh, I got to go for a walk.
I know, Dave. He's like, "What do you?" I go, "I'm in the car for like 2.5 to 3 hours every day."
That's a long time.
It's a long. I know. I understand.
Guys listening to books on tape.
I
We're
am.
going to learn languages. We're going to
I'm
speak
listening
some
to the
Italian
Goggins
again.
book. Your buddy, I'm Bostonian versus the book. Parole. He listened to the same book, David
The
Goggins.
Goggins book, yeah. The Goggins book.
great.
He's been talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out Matt Peralt, by the way, too. Right, his podcast, The Daily Juice, is back.
He's going to go back to doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's got that. I got all this other stuff. You two we're working the time for each of you to come on next week so we can
Absolutely.
talk about
Man.
what you're doing on Bostonia versus
Yeah,
the book. You
coming
can
in.
come on and say whatever you want, wear whatever you want. It's just me and him now. We're on our own. I'm learning a lot about this business and a lot about people. I can tell you that. That's my 2-game parlay.
There you go. Hey, how'd the planking go this week, boys?
My back's a little tight. I got to be honest. My
Is
back's
it?
a little tight. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
I need to know those things before I set you up for the next thing. So, all right. So, lower back?
My lower back, a little bit tight. I think I just slept wrong. We got a lot going on. Little Consig was student of the month.
Hey!
January, so big ceremony and all kinds of things. And there was a lot of stress in here this morning. So my back's a little bit tight, but I said it might be the planking.
Okay.
I like the planking.
I love that. That's awesome.
I love it.
And so did you make the 7 minutes?
Oh, I made 7 minutes. I mean, but I overdo it. I try to do like 2 minutes the first day.
That was silly.
And I just
Okay.
hold 2 minutes, 2 minutes. So I did 10 minutes total.
Okay.
2 minutes.
Moose.
I did not do 10 minutes. I did 7. I did what we were asked.
Yeah. All right.
Extra.
I know Dave. Dave, extra credit.
Always extra. Can't help it. That's what we do. Extra.
All right. Are you guys ready for this week?
Yeah,
You're not going to be happy.
Air squats. We've done the sit-ups. We've done.
Love the squats, the sit-ups. I mean, the
crunches,
crunches,
planking,
yeah,
push-ups.
What do we got, Captain?
Jumping
What do we
jack.
got?
All right, guys.
No.
It's
running
burpees
man.
this week. It's burpees.
No
Yep.
burpees.
It's burpees. 10 burpees per day is very doable. So I need 70 burpees by next Friday.
You get 70 burpees by the weekend, sir.
I'm sure you could.
I could do 70 burpees. Yeah.
Right? That's doable, correct?
That's doable. That's
10
2
burpees per day.
sessions of 10 apiece each day. You're going to get double, sir.
Okay. Wow, you're going to go 140?
I'm going to do 10 at some point before noon.
Yep.
And I'm going to do 10 at some point after noon.
Now, you guys, again, this isn't me being a jerk. You guys both know how to do burpees where you're not going to hurt yourself, correct? Like you're good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Why? How could you hurt yourself?
Well, just like when you coming up, if you're like lunging your body, I don't want you to hurt your lower back or anything like that.
Gotcha.
So, if it gets to the point where when you get to the top, you can't do the full jump, you can do kind of like the kick thing. Yeah. And like just raise your arms. Yes.
Form is more important than anything.
100% agreed.
It's all about the form. Forget about the speed. Forget about the quantity.
Yes.
Do it right.
Yeah.
Form.
Yeah. The ego lifting thing was something that was really big in your 20s and maybe your 30s. The ego lifting in your 40s and older isn't necessary.
No.
Even though I do it sometimes, but it's not necessary.
Jessica said you cannot profit. She said best profit is
on the thing that I was suggesting,
Yes.
but Dave basically debunked it anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we wouldn't do that.
Oh, really fast, 20 seconds. James Harden, points prop. Mikal Bridges, points, rebounds, assists. Domantas Sabonis, points prop. And Bojan Bogdanovic, points prop. Go over on all of them.
It's a lot of stuff.
All right. We out. Dave, have a great weekend.
Mike,
Roll it out.
Jaden!